Hello, my name is Mr. E, representing GoodPennyStockInfo.com, where you can find information about creating profits consistently within the stock market. In this video, I want to extend my other video where I talk about emotional intelligence. And in that video, I mentioned fear, and that's what I'm focusing on in this video. It is my opinion. I'm convinced to believe that the two most powerful emotions in the human experience is fear and love. And how I simply define fear is an emotion which is triggered by a perceived threat. And in the end, for investors, the threat that they have towards their goal, which should be profits, you should want to take profits, and the threat to your profits is obviously losses. So that's the threat. That's what triggers the fear in the fear and greed combination in the stock market. Now, fear has to be addressed, in my opinion. I don't understand how you can even talk about investing without talking about fear, because fear is a powerful motivator. It's quite easy to trigger, and a lot of marketers know this. They know that it's easy to trigger fear. It's easy to talk about the things that you're trying to escape from, the things you're trying to run away from. That's easy to trigger. But the problem is that the main problem why fear is detrimental to an investor is that it causes the old fight or flight mindset. You know, some people even go further as to say the fight or flight mindset also involves just staying still, just freezing. You get so scared you just freeze. That's also part of the fight or flight mindset. So and the reason why this is bad in the stock market, because when you have this mindset trigger, it has been clinically shown that it reduces critical thinking or any kind of rational thinking. And this is bad. We do not want to we want to maintain as much of our rational thinking as possible when we're dealing with these numbers, because we got enough to deal with already. So we want to manage fear because we don't want to trigger that mindset. So how do we manage the fear then? How do we keep the fear how do we minimize the fear enough to where, it doesn't do as much damage? And since there's a perceived threat, the only way to combat a perceived threat is to have a perceived security. And that's why I stick to the word perceived, because what one person might consider a threat, another person might not consider as much of a threat. Excuse me, I use a mic, so I can sound clearer. But anyway, like say for instance, 3 guys are out hunting for a tribe. They're out hunting for food, and there's a 400-pound saber-tooth tiger. One guy has a spear, one guy has a bow, and one guy is just a knife. That's it. Now the bow guy, he's gonna be like, well, as long as that saber-tooth tiger is over there, I don't have a problem. I can pick it off right away. And it won't be a problem. The guy with the spear, he's like, okay, if I keep my distance, I can throw the spear and be fine, but I better hit it though. Or if it gets kind of close, as long as I keep my distance, I can do damage to it while minimizing damage to me. Knife guy is like, man, I hope I don't have to deal with that saber-tooth tiger. Because they all understand the threat. They all understand that the saber-tooth tiger has sharp teeth. They all understand that it has, claws and everything. It can rip them apart. but because of the tools they have to provide their security, they're affected differently. So, how do you have your perceived security? You gotta have a good plan. You gotta have a good, reliable investment plan. It's gotta include. It has to include how do you take your profits. A lot of people just go in thinking, well, I'm just gonna sell it when it hits the peak. That's all I need to do. Buy low, sell high. Well, how you know when it's high? What determines high? Really? It's crazy. Or at what point, how do we make sure that we walk away from this deal with a gain and not trying to go for not lose everything going for the gold, shooting for the moon? Your investment plan has to include all this. And once you're starting to realize you have a good plan and it's starting to give you a certain set of expected results, then you start noticing that your fear, it starts to dwindle. It starts to go less. Yeah, it's there. You don't want to lose money. Losing money is very real, but you don't lose as much. You start to have that's your perceived security. That's your bow and your spear that's out there. You're able to keep the threat at a distance. So it's good. I remember a movie I watched on Netflix. I can't remember what it was. I tried to Google it. If you find out what it is, please leave a comment and let me know, and I'll just add an addendum to the site or the YouTube or whatever. It was this movie about marketing, and they tried to make it a story and everything, and it was but the marketing technique they did, what I found more appealing about the movie is it discussed marketing mainly. That's what I got from it. That's what made it enjoy. But anyway, they was talking about marketing. If you know about the movie, let me know. There was one part where they were trying to put out a drink line, and what they did, they named the drink after the celebrity, and you had to buy the drink of that sort, whatever. And they didn't pay the celebrities, but the more, I don't know, it was weird. The more that drink of that name got sold, it collected money somehow. It sounded crazy. I don't know if it would work in real life, but anyway, the main part I want to get from that, there was one part, it was very scary. The female character, she was like the co-main character to the story. She kind of broke the fourth wall and started talking to the audience. There's a certain part where they start talking to the audience, giving out marketing information, and she's like, yeah, fear and love. We've already mastered the fear, and now we're working on research to master the love, so you can fall in love with a product right away. And I was like, oh, I don't want that. I don't want some marketer give me fall in love with hamburgers, and at first glance, and now I'm addicted to hamburgers. I just love this hamburger. I don't want that, dude. But anyway, that solidified my understanding, because I heard it before, but then when I heard that solidified it. That it's all about fear and love. And fear is easy to trigger. That's why our news is the way it is. That's why they try to scare you into things. That's why religions do it. They try to trigger that fear. You're going to hell if you don't do this. You're going to this bad place. And I'm slightly religious, but I just know this is a common tactic they use. You're going to this god-awful place if you don't accept what we believe. Well, they say that over there too. But anyway, it's the fear. They're working the fear angle because it's easy to trigger. Because the fight or flight mindset is an old ancient technique that we use to survive. It's how we was able to not get mauled and eaten by the 400-pound saber-tooth tiger, or stumped by the 1-ton woolly mammoth. And because the way of evolution works, evolution just stacks on top of things. It doesn't get rid of the old mechanics. It just stacks on top of it. So that old caveman mentality still sticks to us. It causes fight or flight, which reduces rational thinking. So we have to be mindful. We have to pay attention and be emotionally intelligent to recognize when this is triggered and to handle it right away. So that's my video on fear. Let me know Did I miss something? Did I need to go on more depth? Let me know. Let me talk about it, because this is a big topic. There's no way I can get this down in one video, and I can continue on another. Until then, go to my website, goodpennystockinfo.com. I'm Mr. E, and I'm out.